Hello everybody, Storm here. Welcome back to Hearts of Iron 4, Germany. In the last episode, we were able to win the Civil War and remove Hitler and the Nazis. So we are now a military junta at the moment. We're going to attempt to restore the Kaiser. Bring the Kaiser back. Well, we're going monarchy anyway. We're definitely not going democracy. So we're going this direction. And then we'll see what we're going to do. But we are going to need to increase the popularity of this. We're going to need to get rid of the other ideologies. So, sharpen air safety regulations. What we really need is something that increases press censorship, ban fascism. So we lose 10% stability. We gain, but it drops support for fascism by 16%. For as long as it's active. Weekly stability. For 90 days. Yeah, it doesn't have an actual timer on it, so that just is what it is. What we're probably going to want to do is institute press censorship, and so for a year, we'll get some better support. We'll see how things go. Alright. So I'm just going to unpause it here, let things run for a little bit. Nazi leadership captured. Okay. German Civil War ends. Alright, the Civil War that has racked Germany has now come to an end. The fighting was extraordinarily intense, with fanatical resistance by the Nazis causing devastation on a scale reminiscent of the Great War. It appears Hitler is dead, and the Nazi leadership imprisoned or executed. The provisional government has now announced it is necessary to secure their hold over the state and ensure the return of stability to the nation before there can be any thought of embarking on a process of constitutional reforms. Alright, Nazi leadership captured. At long last, we have freed our country from the grip of our enemies, and those loyal citizens who rose up to support our cause may now finally return to their homes. As a nation, we may begin the long and arduous process of rebuilding our nation. The country's leadership, in turn, is free to begin looking ahead at what might come in the future, democracy or a return to the old monarchy. One last thing remains to be taken care of, however. With the end of the Civil War, our troops have managed to capture a large group of the Nazi leadership. Now there only remains a decision on what to do with this unsavory part of our recent history. Hang them, regain stability, and drops fascism support by 5%. Delete the Landsturm Regiment template and remove all units created from this template. Okay. Let me just mark that with a symbol. And how much of our army is going to go away if we do that? A lot.
Bereit zum Ausrücken. Zuhören.
Well, regardless of what we do, those guys are going away. Okay, so political power up. Change in popularity of fascism goes up by 5%. Nope, hang on. Okay. Well, looks like we're going to have a long process of rebuilding our army. Which is fine. Let's put these guys on some fronts just so that I can make things a little bit easier. Let's go ahead and send you to the Netherlands border. Let's send you guys to, I don't know, the Austrian border. Just for no
Bereit zum Ausrücken.
good reason. We're going to put you guys on the Polish border. Sure. Alright, so we're going to need to train you guys. You guys are going to that army. So I'm going to need 16 divisions of infantry. 2 sets of 8. I'll drop you somewhere. And you guys are going there. Alright. We'll get that started first. Let's see if we can free up some civilian factories. Let's see, if I go 0, it's going to take a lot of time. Actually, we're gonna lose. So I'm gonna need to bring in some oil. I need to bring in some oil. All right. One thing we do need here is we are going to need transports. Convoys. We get those building. Institute or press censorship. Do it. So we should see those guys dropping and this increasing. Good. Outdated equipment. Yeah, I know. Alright, I think what we need to do is we're going to need to prioritize repairing factories. I think I'm just going to prioritize the repairs in general. Get all the factories and infrastructure fixed. And then we can start building new stuff. Alright, Games of the 11th Olympiad. Does this change at all? The 11th Olympic Games were recently held in undamaged parts that devastated and newly rebuilding Berlin, Germany. Attended by athletes from 49 different nations across the world, the 1936 Summer Olympics are the first in history to have enjoyed limited live television coverage. The Games, a symbol of renewed German national unity, were also a significant propaganda victory for the new German regime, which, despite the tremendous costs of rebuilding the nation after the Civil War, spent lavishly on the event. German athletes saw the most success, winning 33 gold medals, while the Americans came in second with 24. 4 of these were won by Jesse Owens, the single most successful athletes of the games. Alright. Excavation, logistics company. I think we need to start work on naval doctrine. Trade interdiction right now. I think we're going to change up our plan. I want to switch to fleet and being. It's going to take some time. But we're going to do that. And... BF-110s. Oh, ME-323 Gigant, or Gigant. As a strategic bomber, that's interesting. That was more of a transport aircraft. I think we're probably okay for planes. Let's see, it's still 36. Let's start getting radio detection. Let's do that. Alright, what are we looking at as far as our stockpiles? 114 days. That's not bad. Support equipment, 16 days. No problem. Light tanks, 286 days. We do need to start working on some tanks. Probably should have got that. It's alright. We'll grab it soon. Alright. We're going to need to secure the new state. We are also going to need to improve our industry. Yeah, that's not going to happen. Well, I never know, actually. Alright, there's a 4-year plan. We're going to secure the new state. Yeah, we're not building any tactical bombers because the factory is not functional. Demand increased Dutch trading with Germany? No. We are beginning to get some equipment into these training divisions. Support equipment, artillery is fine. I need to edit my template here, though. And that's going to mess things up a little bit, but we need to do it. Let's see, engineers. Yeah, that's fine. Field hospitals and logistics. Oh, excuse me. And recon. I want some artillery. Can we do support anti-air? Yeah. 19 combat width. That's 22 combat width. I'm gonna need some anti-tank guns, I think. Let's go with this for now. Save it. We are not producing anti-aircraft guns. We're gonna have to do that. There we go. That's gonna take a while. Alright, we need some political advisors. Captain of Industry, Infrastructure Construction, Civilian Factory, Refinery Construction Speed. It's not bad. Sure, we'll do it. We did get our 3rd Panzer Division. These are light tanks. I need to start getting some medium tanks so we can start converting these into proper medium tanks. 6 days for mechanical computing to get done, then we'll start working on the Panzer IIIs. One thing I really do hope that they expand the ship designing interface and system to is tanks. Panzer IIIs. Leopards. No, Panzer IIIs. So that you can go in here and really make some variants. So you could create, maybe you can swap out a different turret, or a different gun, or a different armor profile, or add some armor. You know, get some add-ons like Scherzen, or things like that on the tanks. Zimmerit, or whatever that stuff is called. Revive the Kaiser. Yes. You know, swap out engines, suspension, all kinds of stuff that you could do for designing tanks. So you could create, you know, different variants of the same tank, or have 2 different tanks that function in different roles. For example, if we go with, like, the German Panzers, at least early war, Panzer IIIs were, you know, intended for anti-armor. So they had a high-velocity gun, relatively, 50 millimeter, whereas the Panzer IVs had a larger 75 millimeter short barrel gun that was more intended for soft targets and bunkers and things like that. It would fire high explosive shells. Wasn't really intended for going up against other tanks. Elastic defense, grab it. Until they, invaded Russia and realized that the 50 millimeter gun on the Panzer III, which already had some troubles in France, was nowhere near adequate to take on KV-1s and T-34s. So they had to upgun the Panzer IV with a longer 75 that actually could punch through Russian armor. Alright, modify our government. We don't have a lot of choices here. Anti-fascist agent. I should probably do that. I'll switch to you. Continue to reduce that fascist support, even though it's, like, non-existent now. Alright, we got our radio detection. Are we in 37? We are in 37. So let's get our improved machine tools. Alright. Black shirts organize the United Kingdom. Okay. Under the leadership of Oswald Mosley, the British Union of Fascists has begun an organized campaign of marches across the country, thus seeking to grow the number of fascist supporters throughout the United Kingdom. The violent counter-reaction by anti-fascist elements of the public have already caused a number of street fights, however, and it is uncertain whether the stability will be maintained or whether the political unrest will become even worse. The BUF leadership, for their part, have already vowed not to stop until they have marched on Downing Street and demanded a change of government. Alright, we'll see if they manage to avoid a civil war. Most likely not. Alright, how is our repairs going? Repairs are going well. Factories are all done. We're working through the infrastructure pretty effectively there. I think I might move some factories around. Let's see. Surplus. Yeah, so let's go ahead and move... We'll move one of these to support equipment and a couple of them to towed, not towed artillery, to anti-air. Base ability drops. We could definitely afford it. Let's see. We need to do some anti-democratic raids, I think. We'll do that. The Mexican junta has declared war on Mexico, so there goes the Mexican Civil War. Oh, how does the, oh, excuse me. Hold on a minute. There we go. Still going. Mexican Civil War. It looks like that the nationalists are winning. Japan declared war on Japan. Okay, Revive the Kaiser Reich is done. We're gonna definitely be going for Return of the Kaiser. Do that. So we have democracy, the democratic side versus the fascists. So that's interesting. Japan is trying to go democratic, which, considering what part is democratic, they probably will. Austria votes to unite with Hungary. Alright, at the insistence of the Hungarians, Austria has carried out a referendum on the possible reunification of the two nations under the Habsburg crown. The final count has almost been completed, but it is already clear that it is a landslide victory for the reunification camp. No irregularities in the voting process have been reported, and the Austrian government has found itself obligated to reform into a regional government of the Hungarian state. Though the move is greatly welcomed by the Hungarian public, the political repercussions of the referendum will likely be felt keenly throughout Europe. And we'll see what kind of repercussions we have as a result of that. Hindenburg Incident. Oh. Disaster was narrowly averted today when a diesel fuel leak was discovered on the German passenger airship Hindenburg as it came into dock at the Lakehurst Naval Air Station in the United States. The leak was promptly repaired. Had it gone unnoticed, flammable vapor could have resulted in a fire that would have engulfed the entire airship. Critics have long questioned the wisdom of passenger airships, given their spotty safety records, and this incident is bound to make them even more vocal. A close call. So the Hindenburg has survived. 2.5 years to fill our stockpiles of fuel. We will have to see about dealing with that. Alright, where are we at? What do we need? We need support equipment. We're working on it. We're definitely working on it. We're going to need to work on it a little bit more. Let's transition a couple of more factories to support equipment. It's what's holding us back right now. So, speaking of factories, we are back building factories. Very good. I would say we would need to build radar stations and air bases, but should be alright. Fighters, 2,000 days. Let's get some fighters going. We're gonna need them. Potentially. Improve machine tools. Alright, so that's done. Concentrated industry. Construction 2. Construction 2. Get that done. Free dockyards. Ah, we must have finished the Scharnhorst. Okay. Speaking of, the fleet. You know, we don't have any admirals. This is the submarines, so we want someone who's good with subs. Battleship, naval lineage. Well, you're the Seawolf. Submarine attack. Now let's reassign him. And we'll get... Superior Tactician. You. Dive bombing is done. Reserve fleet. No. No, I want this specific fleet. There we go. Let's see. Amelia Earhart circumnavigates globe. The famous aviator Amelia Earhart, known to many as the Queen of the Air, has completed a flight around the world together with her navigator and Fred Noonan. After a brief scare when the pair temporarily got lost while approaching Howland Island in the Pacific, the flight proceeded without incident, and this morning their Lockheed Electra touched down in Oakland, California. A ceremony is to be held at the White House next week, where Earhart is to be personally congratulated for her feat by the president. Alright, we're going to have to split this up a little bit. Alright, I am going to move the heavy cruisers. We're going to move, let's see, I'm going to move 1, 2... Get 2 of the destroyers. That's fine. Let's create a new task force. All the destroyers. I want to move this fleet to there. There we go. I want you marked as... that's fine for now. And here's submarines. There we go. Additional military factories. Let's get you making some motorized. Let's get you working on direct ground support. Alright. I think we are at where we want to end the episode. So, yeah, we'll end it here. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Go ahead, like, subscribe, and comment, and I will see you next time.